Everyone at Westbridge Academy knew Ethan Carrington's name. Not because of his achievements, but because of who his father was. Ethan's dad was one of the richest men in America, a billionaire whose empire stretched across tech, real estate, and global investments. The Carrington name meant influence, power, and prestige. But for Ethan, it meant something else entirely. It meant pressure. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't escape the shadow of his last name. Teachers expected him to be brilliant, classmates assumed he had everything, and his father expected perfection. Yet Ethan failed. Over and over. He failed math, history, even literature. His report cards were a disaster, and every test seemed to confirm one thing: he wasn't good enough. One afternoon, after receiving yet another failed exam, Ethan stormed out of class and wandered into the empty school hallway. He sat on the cold bench, head in his hands, fighting tears he didn't want anyone to see. That's when he heard the sound of a mop bucket rolling. "Rough day?" a voice asked. Ethan looked up to see Mr. Daniels, the school janitor. He was in his late 50s, tall and wiry, with skin dark as polished mahogany and eyes that carried both strength and kindness. Everyone at school knew Mr. Daniels. He greeted every student, remembered every name, but most never thought twice about him. Ethan sighed. "You wouldn't understand." Mr. Daniels chuckled softly. "Son, pain doesn't care about bank accounts. Everyone's got their battles." Ethan shook his head. "I failed every test. My dad's gonna kill me. I study, I read, but nothing sticks. I'm just stupid." His voice cracked on the last word. Mr. Daniels leaned on his mop and studied the boy carefully. "You know, when I was your age, I failed too. Not because I couldn't learn, but because no one taught me how I learn." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" Mr. Daniels sat on the bench beside him, his work gloves still on. "The secret isn't about memorizing answers. It's about finding the story inside the lesson. You see, knowledge is like music. You gotta feel the rhythm before you can dance to it." Ethan blinked, confused but curious. Mr. Daniels picked up Ethan's history book lying on the floor. "This chapter's about the American Revolution, right? Instead of reading dates like numbers, picture it like a movie. Soldiers marching, people risking their lives for freedom. Close your eyes and imagine it like you're there. Once you feel it, you'll never forget it." For the first time, Ethan didn't feel judged. He felt understood. That evening, Ethan tried Mr. Daniels' method. Instead of staring blankly at the textbook, he created mental pictures, weaving stories from facts. Suddenly, the pages weren't just ink, they were alive. Days turned into weeks. Ethan studied differently now. He listened to the rhythm in words, turned problems into puzzles, and slowly, the failures turned into small victories. A quiz he passed. An essay that earned praise. And then, one morning, the impossible happened. Ethan received his first A. The teacher announced it aloud, and the class gasped. For Ethan, it wasn't just a grade. It was proof. Proof that he wasn't broken, that he wasn't destined to fail. But what shook him most wasn't the paper in his hands. It was the man pushing a mop outside the classroom door, giving him a proud, quiet nod. Mr. Daniels never boasted, never told anyone about the secret he had shared. But Ethan knew. And for the first time in his life, he walked home smiling.